Hello, welcome to Slaughterhouse Talks. I'm Porkchop,
And I'm Dr. Graves.
and today we're talking about
Halloween.
1978, directed by John Carpenter.
It's a real good classic. And in our house and in our minds, it's August, and that means Halloween's already started. We're talking about this retro classic.
We're gonna do the first 4 because that's where it ends.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow that timeline, and then
We'll take a break.
We'll take a break and we'll get back to it and do the other 9 sometime later. Probably. Well, all right. People already know this movie. We're just going over it because it's one of our favorites. That's basically what this is.
Absolutely.
And people are gonna be listening like, we know about Halloween, but yeah, we're just like, maybe you don't know certain things, or
Maybe you just haven't seen it. Halloween, 1978, directed by John Carpenter. Who is in this movie?
we got Laurie Strode, Annie Brackett, The Shape, Dr. Loomis, Lindsay Wallace, Linda, Tommy Doyle? I think it's
Doyle.
Doyle. Marion Chambers, Judith Myers, and Sheriff Brackett. Lee Curtis is Laurie Strode. Nancy Keys is Annie Brackett. The Shape is Nick Castle.
Okay.
The Shape, if people are like, who's that? It's Michael Myers. Dr. Loomis, who was played by Donald Pleasance, rest in peace. Getting crazier and crazier with every installation when he's there.
That's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be fun. Lindsay Wallace is Kylie Richards.
Mm-hmm.
She was in the new Halloween. So they returned her. Linda is PJ Souls.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Totally. Marion Chambers is Nancy Stevens. Judith Myers is Sandy Johnson. And Sheriff Brackett is Charles Cyphers, who's been in westerns and stuff before this and little bit parts.
Nice.
And Jamie Lee Curtis was 20 years old, I believe.
This was after she did a commercial and a little TV.
She was in Columbo.
That's what she did. A little. She was in a changing room bit.
She was a what do they call it? A waitress.
Yeah,
and they were talking about donuts or something with Columbo.
Yeah, and this is her first big mainstream. Like, this is what's gonna get me into movies. That's her mindset for that.
They didn't really have the mindset. Well, for John Carpenter, when he was asked to do this movie by Mustafa Akkad, who's the granddaddy of just the Halloween franchise, rest in peace. It was basically just like, can you make me a horror movie? Everyone's doing horror movies. Make me a horror movie. Or just a simple premise of babysitters and they get killed off.
Yeah.
And John Carpenter was like, I'll do it. Because at that time in 78, John Carpenter just wanted to make a movie. Yeah. He didn't care what it was. And no one knew it was going to be this big. And
he just did Assault on Precinct 13.
Yeah, he did that before Halloween.
And that's what gave him some money.
Yeah, that's what gave him some money, but not a lot of people watched it. Donald Pleasance watched it, and that's what got him involved.
Because his daughters forced him to watch it, and then his daughters were like, this guy, you got to do a movie with him. And that's the only one of the reasons Donald Pleasance did him. Did the first movie, and John Carpenter sold him on why he was going to do it, and I feel like that's why he kept doing them.
There was some behind the scenes with Donald Pleasance a little drunk. He liked his drink.
Yeah. And
there's some, if you can find it, it's pretty funny of him just tipsy Donald Pleasance behind the scenes.
Good stuff.
So let's get into this. I'm going to say we're going to get into this. We're just going to do little snippets of information.
So like, we wrote up the classic, Halloween theme. I won't be able to play it in the video. We're going to cut this out because we're talking.
Fair use.
We'll do a fair use Halloween theme, but it opens up on a pumpkin, zooms in, and we got that awesome, title, orange title credits, and Halloween opens up, and
John Carpenter did the composing for all of the Halloween movies. Any John Carpenter most of them, he's done the score for.
Yeah, he sold his
soul.
No, he sold the soul for the fourth film. I don't want to say the second film. He kind of gave away his rights of the music to a different composer to make the elongated suites.
Oh, so like a
suits for the suit for Laurie and like Michael, they get longer ones for the second one because he kind of gave round his music.
Oh, okay.
So we get through that like opening and it pans down and it's Halloween, but what year is it? It's 1968. 1968?
67, I think.
68 or 67 66. Pans down and everyone's like, okay, yeah, Halloween, trick or treat, and we get into Maya's house.
The Maya's house is
pans in and it's the older sister.
It's Judith.
And the boyfriend, nameless blonde-haired boyfriend.
I don't know. He spends about 5 seconds having sex with
Yeah.
her.
They go upstairs, it's like, alright, let's go upstairs, babe. It's like, okay, and they go upstairs, and it's just like, it is literally just like 5 seconds. He's like, well, I gotta go.
Okay, maybe not that. Maybe like a minute, because we have to pan around.
Yeah, we do all this Steadicam slow footage throughout the house, creeping around, and we're like, is this someone's POV? Is this just like the house? Is this the camera? And then it gets to like the boyfriend going downstairs.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Dude, whoa, the folks will be waiting for me. And it's like, that was a very short sex scene, but
we get the classic kill.
we get this awesome like shot of like Michael, young Michael, or we don't know what it is, but we
He's
get
just
young
eye
Michael,
holes.
and it's like a slide through the camera with the eye holes. It's really cool, and he goes up the stairs, and he's like, he's a noob at this, so he holds,
animate a knife.
yeah, and he holds the knife pretty
Weekly,
weakly,
and he keeps checking. I don't know. He keeps looking away.
He goes upstairs, and you gotta have the gratuitous nude shot, and the sister's there. She's combing her hair. She's like, Michael, and he kills her.
So his hair on him.
He kills her, and it go like Sing Sing. And I don't think, does it POV down the stairs, or does it just cut to him outside?
I think if he goes to him walking away, then it goes outside.
Then it cuts to him, and like he's outside wearing the clown costume with the knife, and like the dad like rips it off, and Michael, and like and it's like cuts, and it's now
So the head
zoom out, black screen, Halloween, October 31st, 1978.
Yes. So it's the movie's to the time came out.
Which is
78.
which is scary.
What are we doing?
I'm doing a sip of coffee. Hold on.
What movie are we reviewing? Oh yeah, Halloween.
Halloween.
We get introduced to Marion Chambers and Dr. Loomis in the fade back in.
So
Going to Smith's.
Yeah, so we introduced these two characters instantly. We got Smoking Nurse and Dr. Loomis, and they're just talking about little things about like how long Michael's been in here. It's been 15 years since.
Can you refer to it as him? Don't stop calling it an it.
Oh, to him.
Yeah, to call it him.
Him. It's he's been in
15 years.
He's been solitary confinement in an insane asylum for 15 years.
Smith's Grove.
He hasn't spoken a word to anyone apart from not even Loomis,
No,
and
he
he's
doesn't
just
say
Loomis
anything.
just has archived notes on him. That's all we get of
I would
Michael.
love to read those notes.
Yeah, and it's been 15 years, and the car pulls up, and it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Like the fence is a little bit opened up. What the hell? And they go through, and all the inmates are out. It's like, since when do they let them run free like this? And Dr. Loomis is just like, just drive up slowly. Go on, move.
Yeah. Wait.
And Loomis gets out of the car because he's got to check around, and then a hand comes out on
Marion.
Oh, first on my side, so Michael's hand comes out and smashes the window on the Smoking Nurse's side. And she smokes a lot.
She does.
She smashes through the window, and Michael gets into because he's an inmate, we can't see his face yet, so he's in robes.
She gets scared and she jumps out of the car.
Which is, whatever. It's
And
a smart
he takes
move.
the car.
Michael takes the car, but let's not question the fact that Michael can drive.
No, that's
And I love Donald Pleasant's line because it kind of hints at like how unhinged Donald Pleasant is, because he's gone.
He's gone.
The evil's gone from here. The car pulls away, and we get introduced to Laurie.
Laurie and Tommy.
So Laurie's
Step-parents
own real estate.
Yeah.
And Laurie has to go drop off the key at the Michael's place because someone's
The
interested.
Myers house. The spook house.
The spook house because someone's interested in buying it, possibly.
I don't know who.
That's
but
just
okay.
whoever wants to buy this piece of shit rundown house, and Laurie's like gonna walking across, like get into the house, and Tommy appears. It's like, hey, it's Halloween, and it's like, are you ready for tonight? Because she's babysitting him.
Yeah, she's a babysitter.
And they have the cool little backstory hint of like how the house is evil.
I like how natural the acting is here. It's actually like talking to a kid and
Like a babysitter.
like a high schooler.
Yeah, and it seems all on point. And they get to the Michael house, and the camera's inside of the house, so we
hear the
shoot
breathing.
through the door, and obviously Michael's in
We
there.
don't we don't see Michael. We just hear breathing.
Yeah, and Laurie drops off the key, and that's that. But Michael's in there watching.
It cuts back to Loomis explaining to the medical board about
What happened
what
last
the fuck
night.
happened.
One of Dr. Loomis's friends who
He'll
turn up later in the series, but
number 6.
yeah. And they talk about, like, what the fuck happened, and he's like, I don't believe you, like, he stole a car. And he's like, well, he did, and he drove. And it's like, well, who the fuck taught him? It's like, well, someone taught him lessons, and he did really well, and he's gone. He's going to go to Haddonfield, which is 150 miles
away
from
from
where he is, and so that's Loomis's trip to go.
And then we cut back to school, and we're talking about fate.
We talk about the classic of fate and
the little spook scare with just Michael standing.
Yeah, Laurie's like looking at her notes, and like she's like looks out the window, and like a car goes past, and a car goes past, and Michael's standing there, and the teacher's talking about fate or something, and then she's like, Laurie? And then it cuts in, it's like, Laurie, answer the question, and like Michael disappears, and she answers the question, but like there's that weird thread of fate that will continue throughout Laurie's timeline.
It cuts to after school, and we
Tommy getting bullied. Tommy getting bullied the fuck out.
I was gonna skip that, but yeah, sure. We'll have Tommy get bullied by
everyone.
Lonnie and all his friends. Lonnie shows up in Halloween Kills.
Okay.
He has his own scene where Michael scares him on Halloween night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get back to that. But yeah, Lonnie, everyone jumps on him and scares him about the boogeyman.
Tommy gets beat up and he gets pushed on that pumpkin. It could have cracked his rib.
He cracked a rib.
And
then it goes to where?
Michael's stalking Tommy through a police car, watching him for a bit, and then it cuts to Loomis on a payphone because he's now discovered that there's...
Well, he hasn't discovered the body, but he discovered the abandoned
truck.
The mechanic truck. That's where Michael gets his overalls.
And it's like, yeah... It's like, hey, this is your funeral. This is your funeral if you don't help. And like puts the phone down. And he's like, well, what the fuck's behind that bush? And the dead mechanic and taking, you said you took in the jumpsuit.
Yeah, jumpsuit. Well, he doesn't see the mechanic. All he sees is the pack of the matches, rabbit and red.
Alright.
With the same matches Marion Chambers had.
Am I supposed to think she's dead?
I'm supposed to think that, or it's just a connection of like maybe Michael's gone there. You know. And then we get introduced to Linda, Annie, and we already know Laurie a little bit.
Yeah, Laurie's walking home from school. School's finished, and Linda comes out, and PJ Souls' catchphrase is totally. We counted them up. If I can just exert to my notes real quick.
5, 10.
Yeah, 10 times she says totally throughout this movie.
I'm saying 11 because I might have misheard
one.
Because we weren't really paying too much close attention because we know the movie somewhat.
They have a little talk and they get to the other side of the street after school and this car comes racing by and they think it's this kid who like is a classic speeder and it's actually Michael in the stolen car and he takes it's Michael in the stolen car. It's Michael in the stolen car and he stops and he's like, hey, speed kills, and he stops and he's like further down the road and he brakes and it's like clean Michael and he stops a little bit longer than normal people would have and then he goes away and it's just like, oh fuck, could have got everyone killed.
It's fine.
They go off, Linda goes off to go home, Annie and Laurie are left and Annie's being a total asshole and says, hey, like, Michael's behind the bush.
It was
behind the bush and Laurie's like, hey, there's that guy again and then he's like, oh yeah, and like goes behind the bush and no one's there obviously and he's just like, hey, like there's someone who wants to talk to you. Laurie comes up and he's not there but Michael was like clear behind the bush stalking both of them
and
then Annie fucks off because they'll see each other that night and Laurie bumps into Sheriff Brackett. And
he's dead
and
if you know the quote, you know the quote.
Yeah, we'll put it in. We go here. Laurie, after that whole freaking jump scare, because she's already on edge from like getting stalked by Michael,
goes into a room
and looks out the window, and that's not the best thing you want to see, but
it's Michael behind the sheet. But she's still okay. This is what I'm confused. It's Michael behind the sheet. The sheet moved a little bit, and then he's gone. But she's making eye contact with him the entire time. So how does he disappear so quickly?
It's like Michael was just like, hey, and just looking, he's like, oh, fuck.
It could be quickly, but, like, there's not enough time, so I don't know how.
He ran off. Jump scare phone call. Annie's on the line, but she's not saying anything because she's got food in her fucking mouth. And then, like, Laurie gets freaked out, slams the phone down. Phone call again, and it's Annie. It's like, why didn't you call? It's like, because you didn't answer me. It's like, well, I had shit in my mouth. And, like...
She basically says, I'll be there in 10, 15 minutes to take you to Tommy's house.
Laurie walks to...
We just wait for Annie.
We're just going to wait till Annie. And then she's outside, and they smoke.
They smoke a J.
They smoke weed.
They smoke...
Yeah, they smoke some weed, and
Blue Oyster Cult.
Laurie is obviously still a noob at it, so she's like coughing up a lung, and Annie's just like, well, "You not a pro yet? Smile with you."
Listening to Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, and like rocking out, and they go around the corner, and there's like, "Oh fuck, my dad," and like, "What do you mean?" And there's like cop cars.
Haddonfield Hardware.
Dad, Haddonfield Hardware. It's like, what? Someone broke in, and it's like, what do you mean? It's like, what did they take?
It's very specific what they took.
And they're kids.
Knives, rope, and masks. That's a very specific hit.
Yeah, and like, what kid? If a kid's doing that for Halloween, we need to find all those kids and question them. But
because that's weird.
Whatever. And they're like, I see. Aren't you gonna be late? And they're like, Annie and Laurie leave, and Loomis. He's all like, he's so freaked out by it. It's like, I need to talk to you. Listen, man, I need to talk to you.
I'll be 5 minutes.
I gotta talk to you.
I'll be 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll be here. And while he's looking around, dude, you could have turned around because Michael drives past them in the car, and it's like, dude, if you just look, there he is. Would have been a shorter film.
And then it cuts to some dialogue between Tommy and Laurie about comic books or something.
Oh yeah, they get. I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes because we're going through all this awesome stuff here. Drives past Laurie dropped off at Tommy's house, and Michael stalks from the trees. Because Tommy looks out the window.
That's the continuing bit to keep it along. Tommy sees Michael and it's the boogeyman. And
no one
Laurie doesn't believe him until like the end, until she sees him. If you you know.
Jump scares and like, oh crap, and then finally Dr. Loomis got Sheriff Brackett's attention to talk to him about Michael, and it's like, man, we gotta check out the Myers house. Okay, fine, all the stuff that's happened in the past, like they start talking about the events, what happened. It's like, Sheriff Brackett's like, this is just bullshit. Like, I don't believe this. And they come in, and they're like, wait,
there's a dead dog.
What the fuck's that?
It's a dead dog.
Little dead dog in the corner.
Michael,
Loomis says it might be a little bit more of a deep thinking thing, but he says he got hungry.
So it's either killing, the hunger of killing, or he actually ate the dog.
Yeah, I'd like to think that Michael ate the dog.
Okay.
So they go upstairs, and Dr. Loomis, Donald Pleasance, has the sickest, awesomest monologue upstairs, and then it gets interrupted
by a broken window.
Something.
No.
Something smashes through a window. It's like the tree.
I thought that happened before the monologue.
No, he has the. No, yeah, sorry. Something smashed through the window. He has the gun. It's like, I have a permit, and then he goes through this awesome monologue that's like almost 5 minutes. It feels like.
No, it's like 2 minutes. If that, almost 2 minutes. And then it goes back to Laurie and Tommy, and Annie calls. Like, Annie does some stuff, she spills butter on a dress, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Dog gets killed. Michael kills a dog. There's some fun in between. And then Paul, I think Paul. Yes, Paul is Annie's boyfriend, calls and he's like, I'm free. So Annie's plan is to leave Lindsay with Laurie. If Annie cancels the fake date with Ben Tramer.
Right.
Because Laurie has a little crush on Ben Tramer. Ben Tramer comes back in a hilarious way in the second one.
Yeah.
It'd be so funny.
It's so good. Because of the trade-off, Annie goes to the garage to go to Paul, and first she needs to get the key. There's no key.
No keys.
So she has to get keys, goes back, and she gets in the car, and she's like...
I don't know if it's... Well, because the fog's inside the window, so obviously someone's in the car.
The windows are fogged up, and she, like, smudges them. She's like, well, the fog's not going away, and, like... She's like, what the fuck? And then Michael comes around, like,
Is it a strangle or a stab?
It's strangle.
Okay.
I think it's strangle and stab, probably.
Okay.
But kills Annie with strangulation, and,
it cuts to
Michael carrying Annie's corpse. Tommy goes look out the window while, she's on the... What's the little girl's name?
Lindsay.
Lindsay's, like, watching the original thing and some, like...
The thing from another world.
And Tommy looks out the window and Michael's carrying Annie's corpse just real quick and screams, and everyone goes up to the window, doesn't see anything, and it's like, would you stop scaring her?
And then we do all that fun stuff, and it cuts to Lonnie and the kids that beat up Tommy going to the Myers house, and there's a beautiful scene with Loomis. And we can put it in, but if you want to recreate it, you can. I'm Lonnie. Right. I'm going up to the door of the Michael's house. Like, I'm not afraid.
And there's a bush here.
And he goes, taps on the door.
"Hey, Lottie, get your ass away from there!"
He runs off. Dr. Loomis spooks him.
And he gets up and he's got such a wonderful smile. He's like,
but then he gets scared by Brackett.
he's like, "Oh!"
He grabs, yes, Loomis and Brackett's just like,
"Oh!"
he doesn't scream.
He like almost shoots him.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, he almost gave me a coronary.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, and then well, they have this like there's like no one out here, and it cuts to Linda and the boyfriend pulling up to Annie's house.
Oh, Linda and Bob.
Bob pull up to Annie's house and like, what the fuck? No, I can't see anyone there. But let's just enter her house anyway when no one's in
They
there.
enter her house and get a little kissy kiss, and then Linda's like, maybe I should call Laurie to figure out what the hell's going on. And they figure out like Annie is gone for the night because they don't know she's dead yet.
Hell yeah.
And they get, you know,
They get on with it. They have to get frisky, and they're like, after that, Bob, go get me a beer, and Bob's like, okay.
we get
on the stairs.
we get two classic scenes.
You get two classic scenes, and Bob thinks Annie is now in the house.
Yeah,
and
because she hears
hears
noises.
noise and stuff. It's like, for God's sake, like, all right, come on out. Michael busts through and stabs him up on the wall.
Up on the closet door in the
And
hallway.
pins him up on the closet door. And
Which, if you know, the knife he's using isn't long enough to pin up a human being and
No.
strong enough, but...
But my God,
Michael
it
does
looks
it for...
cool.
It looks great.
It looks
it's
cool,
quiet.
and we get the first Michael head tilt.
We get the first of Michael head tilts, which has happened by... Okay, there's been multiple sources. John Carpenter says it happened because Nick Castle does it.
Yeah.
Nick Castle says John Carpenter told him to do it. So I don't know.
I don't know.
Head tilt, love it. And we get to see a little twitching of the feet.
Dead.
Dead. And then we get Ghost Michael Myers.
Yeah, Michael gets in the sheet and it just looks like a stereotypical ghost, goes upstairs to Linda and try to kill her.
Well, no, they have a little can't get you ghost Bob.
Yeah.
And it's like, where the hell's my beer? You just go, no, I'm just going to call Laurie to figure out where Annie is. And then we get another great kill.
Michael kills Linda with the phone call and just
And Laurie hears the whole thing.
dead. And now that Laurie's like, well, that's suspicious. I'm gonna leave the kids here. You
And
go
walk
to
over
bed.
to Annie's.
Yeah, I have a spec key. I'll go to Annie's house, and and basically she goes through the house, and we get these little like slope shots. It's just another way to rack up the corpse count. We get to see the corpses again, but Bob is now in the closet upside down.
Oh yeah, he's swinging.
He's swinging upside down. Annie is on the bed with Michael's mother's headstone that he
I thought that was
previously...
Linda.
No, Linda's in the closet.
Oh, Linda's in the closet making a funny face.
Yeah, her eyes are crossed. Linda's in the other Linda is in the other closet. Annie has Michael's mother's headstone on the bed. And now with that, Michael appears and slashes Laurie's arm, and Laurie falls down, like not down the stairs, but off the railing, down the stairs.
And there's a lot of
There's a fight in the kitchen.
There's a fight in the kitchen, and there's a lot of chasing.
And and then she's like, fuck this, and then the back door's kind of locked, she jams back open, runs back to Tommy's house, and Tommy is fucking asleep, and Michael's
She has to
stalking
throw a
up.
plant at the window to wake him up.
Michael's so close to getting her, and Laurie...
He's a little slow in this one.
Yeah, and Laurie finally gets inside, and...
tells the kids to hide.
Yeah, and then Michael gets in through the window, because she left the downstairs window open, and he gets in, and they have a nice little knife fight, and he gets stabbed with the
sewing needle
right into the neck,
and it puts him down, but he just falls on the floor.
and we all think he's dead, and then he disappears. We go back to look behind the couch where he fought. It's like, wait, what? He's gone.
And I hated it because he drops the knife.
Yeah.
And Laurie should have grabbed the knife, but she just leaves it downstairs.
Goes upstairs, and it's like, well, guess what?
Kids, come on, kids.
I killed the boogeyman. Me.
Tommy's like, you can't kill the boogeyman, and then
Guess
Michael comes back upstairs, and she's like, get back in the room.
Yeah.
And then we go to the bedroom, classic scene where she's locked in the closet.
And he's like smashes in, starts like almost blindly slashing at her, and then she gets the clothes hanger and stabs him right through the eye, and he's like, oh.
And then he's on the floor again. She goes over to the kids, and it's like, okay, just leave, go get someone's attention, basically. Oh, go over to this person's house, I can't remember the name, and call the police.
Yeah.
The kids run outside just screaming, like, ah! And Loomis,
it's like, oh,
thank God Loomis is there because
yeah.
he sees Sheriff Brackett real quick and he's like, I found the car he stole. Go around back, and then the kids show up and he's like, I must be coming from this house. And then we got that beautiful slow sequence
where Laurie's just sitting there. She's like just decompressing everything, and Michael's dead. He's clearly dead in the background, and then he gets up.
He's got killer abs because he does a perfect setup. Yeah,
and he turns and looks at her and like, but just basically gets up, and just before he can kill her,
chokes
her out. Loomis.
Well,
runs upstairs.
We also get a reveal of Michael's face.
Yeah.
Do you mind it? I don't mind it.
I mean,
because they didn't know they were going to do sequels.
Yeah, if anyone was going to do sequels, I don't mind it. I think it's like fine, whatever. You get to see the monster, and then Loomis rushes up and
shoots him 6 times.
Actually, shoots him 6 times. Like confirmed 6 times.
Yeah, we counted it.
And then falls out the top window and dies, and looks at Laurie. Looks at Dr. Loomis and just like, it was the boogeyman, and he just
the theme plays again.
Matter of fact, it was. And then he like goes back to the window, looks out, and Michael's corpse is gone.
It's Halloween.
It's Halloween.
And we get a lovely theme, and through the credits you hear Michael's breathing.
Yeah, because you see all the places Michael has been.
And that's Halloween. 9.6 out of 10 from me.
I gave it straight up 9 out of 10.
Okay,
I
go in between.
I think it's good. I think it's a really good, just a classic stalker. It's just good, man. It's just
good. I like it. Of course, I love it, and it wouldn't be Halloween without it now. Because again, we would talk about House on the Hill, how that's perfect for spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween, the first one at least, is perfect for just Halloween. Number 1. No law blood. There's like no law blood in it. There's like no blood in it.
Right.
So I'd be okay showing this to like kids during Halloween. Because it's rated PG-13. Well, it's rated R now.
It's got boobs.
Okay, kids see boobs all the time. Hey, I'm saying I'll be fine. Because there's no blood and there's no law gore. There's not any gore.
And I think I'll give that 9 out of 10 to go with the fact that like the lack of blood really just kind of adds to it, and also John Carpenter is just a good director. It really proves that he's a pretty good director.
We'll get into that. I've got my own opinions.
I mean, the way he directs this film.
Oh, then that's fine. Yeah.
I think he's a really good director.
He uses shadow to great advantage in this movie, I have to admit.
Yeah.
The darkness really helps, and then the white mask coming through the darkness really helps with like the spook.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it. We did Halloween. Next episode we're doing Halloween 2. We're going till 4. So
absolutely.
After this, after 2, we'll do 3. After 3, we'll do 4. Take a break, and what we're doing in between, we can mention that if you want. No mention.
No.
Okay, secret.
So what the plan is for the rest of us this season is we're gonna go through and do like the series.
Oh yeah, we're doing the series.
So we're doing like you said, Halloween 1 through 4, and then we're gonna do another series in between that.
And then back to Halloween.
And then we're gonna go back to Halloween through 5 through
Kills.
To Kills, and
I'm sorry. We're
gonna have to see what happens with that. But until that, keep watching horror movies.
And have a ghoulish day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.